All right, welcome back to the Illuvium Rundown. We're on episode 19. Whitey, back again. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be back 2 weeks later, and we got some more exciting stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, last week was kind of a boring episode. We went through it quick, but there's a lot of things happening right now. We'll get right into it. So let's just start with Illuvium Beyond. At this point, we're about I don't know a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Are we 2 months into Louvitars already?
Yeah, because I think there's only going to be, 20 something days until this
Yeah,
first wave is over.
it started like I think early mid March. So we're 2 months in, and they finally got all the bugs worked out. Everybody can sleeve their albums. Everybody's making it on the leaderboards, and they finally just made an announcement that they had the first snapshot for the top 100 for the ILV rewards. That snapshot was just yesterday for us. I was fortunate enough to make that top 100 for these first 3 weeks. Everybody's going to be getting 3 times the rewards that were promised, and then it's going to go down to the original rewards. So for someone like me sitting in that 51st to 100th place, we're getting 1.5 ILV for the next 3 weeks, and then it'll go down to 0.5 ILV. That first place person is getting 36 ILV right now. I know some of them have probably spent tens of thousands of dollars, which is crazy to me. So I'm sure that 36 ILV isn't really even too much for them.
It's a nice
But
flex.
what have you been seeing in this market? I know you weren't gunning for the top 100, but you've been paying attention.
Yeah, that was a game I didn't want to play. I think at 100 right now, it's about 650,000 to make that top 100.
Yeah.
I was around like 250,000, and I just didn't really have the resources to compete for that. But one thing I am noticing that is bullish is the fact that the total Louvitard percentage is down to about 7%. And for the past, I don't know, long time, it's been right around 8.5 to 9%. So that means that people are holding. And while it didn't really necessarily affect the prices, it is still good to see that there is a lower supply. I mean, 7%, and we still have more people to come in. I mean, who knows? By the end of the bull run, we might be down to just a couple percent, once we
Yeah.
see all the use cases and everything else with that. And Kieran had posted something, or Aaron, someone had posted about a burning mechanism. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so Kieran, I think this is one of the reasons why the listed supply actually went down and the floor price slightly ticked up a little bit. Because Kieran made a post about, I think he called it Essence. There'll be a mechanic in the future where you can burn your Louvitars to get Essence, and Essence will help you in the overworld in your capture rate. It'll help you capture alluvials at a higher percentage. So right after he mentioned that, I saw that the floor got bought up a little bit. I had a few listed pretty low. They ended up getting bought up before I was able to take them off the market. It's just like Illuvium to just keep adding value and giving a reason for people to hold on to these instead of just selling everything off. At least things are going now. It took 2 months for everything to get situated. Illuvium Beyond is where it's supposed to be. Snapshots are coming. People still fighting for that top 100. I'm sure there's a lot of people who gave up, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, we're good to go.
Speaking of the essence and the burning, it kind of leads into our next topic because now we're seeing Illuvitars kind of overlap with the Overworld. Overworld Private Beta 2, it's out.
So it just came out as we're recording this on May 18th here. So it just came out this morning. I got a chance to play it just for a little bit. I'm actually thinking about, after I'm done recording this, actually just hopping on a quick little stream. I haven't streamed anything yet, so I might try to do that. Maybe by the time you see this, maybe you'll have already watched that stream. But yeah, I guess so. We'll start with something new that kind of links to Illuvium Zero. So there's something new called the Morphopods. We don't even know too much of what those are, but when you get into this new private beta, you can catch these morphopods, and they're supposed to be linked to Illuvium Zero somehow. We don't know the details on that, and when we do, we will talk about it here. But those are pretty cool. There's 2 new regions to discover. For a while now, we've only been able to explore the Crimson Waste. Now we get to explore Abyssal Basin and Brightland Steppes. There's new movement mechanics, like you can slide, you can glide. But yeah, it's just exciting. There's more hype in the air because of these couple things that are happening. Just today, I was in the Discord, and there was a good 30 or 40 people, not all streaming the game, but at least in the voice section watching other people stream. I'm starting to see the excitement tick up again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm unable to participate in the private beta too. I don't have a good enough connection. So I have to play vicariously through everybody streaming. So if you're out there, feel free to get it going, put it on YouTube, Twitch, however you want to go about that. And I'm excited because new lands. I'm a big nature guy, so seeing all these worlds kind of just come to life. It's really cool. Like I always talk about the artwork, it's great. So I'm excited. Also in regards to the private beta too, like they hit a deadline, right? Everybody is all concerned about deadlines. Well, they got this one.
Yeah, I'm glad they got this one out, and there really is just a lot going on in this. They brought 25 new alluvials to this. Just the fact that they brought in 2 new regions, like they could have easily just said 1 new region this time. They'll update private beta 3 with a 3rd region. It feels like a whole new game right now, and
Yeah,
it really was, because they wiped all the data from what you had originally, so you're basically starting over. You don't have to get bored with just 1 region. You can explore through 3. And I think the first one started out with, I don't know, 25 or 30 alluvials, probably a little bit more with the tier 0s. Now you're adding 25 more. It's starting to feel like a more complete game, even though we're pretty far away from it being complete. We're off chain, but it's definitely it's exciting. I'm glad they got it out.
Yeah, it's on the way, and that's all that really matters. We're seeing that the development, like you said, they could have just released 1 more region instead they got you 2.
Yeah.
So hopefully for people, that's going to be more exciting, more testing out, and then they can fix any bugs along the way. But hey, in the end of the day, private beta 2, it's here, and I'm excited to see everybody get out there and start playing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you come on my stream so you can hang out with me while I try.
Don't want you to be lonely.
Yeah, I don't want to be lonely. Okay, so let's move on. Let's change tunes a little bit. I just wanted to talk about some of these third-party tools or third-party websites. There's a handful of them out there. Some of them I've been using. Some of them look like they have a lot of potential. Some of them we're just getting hints at what they could be. But I don't see many people talking about these, so I figured we'd bring it up. What do we have right now? We have Illuva Hub. We have Illuvium Master. We have Illuvadata. Polemos is building something for Illuvium. We're getting hints from DJ Sam about something called Luva Labs. It's unclear what they're all going to work out to be and what people are going to use them for. If they're all going to have their own kind of like unique spin on it, or if they're all going to be competing for the same market share. I know right now for Illuvium Master, I've been on there quite a bit to look at the value of my Louvitars and land. I was on Illuva Hub for some leaks. Whenever I want to see look up some alluvials, I'll look over there. They had stuff for governance on there, so I was looking on there for all the nominees and learning more about them. Something like Illuvadata, I haven't seen much of a use case yet, but I think they're one of the websites that has possibly the most potential. Polemos is building out a lending system or a rental system. Don't know too much about that. Luva Labs we haven't heard much of, but I believe it's going to have something to do with lending and renting as well. But have you been using any of these? What do you think the future is for this? Are we going to see more coming up? How are these going to hold up? Are they going to fail? Are they all going to survive? Can they all make it?
I've been right now using Illuvium Master. Illuvitars is kind of my biggest play right now in Illuvium. And it's also early, right? So Illuvium Master requires the most, Illuvium Master is good for Illuvitars. So Illuvitars are out. So it makes sense that I'm going to be using that. And for the other ones, like, it's just kind of early, right? They're out, which is good. They can kind of slowly build. But, as Illuvium gets more utility, these other platforms will have more use case and more reason to be used by multiple users. And are they competing? I would hope they're not looking at it like that. I hope that this is just one big build for the community. And will they fail? I don't know if they'll fail. And if they do, it's not really bearish, Maybe somebody just gives up. I don't think that's going to be the case. These sites already look great. So the groundwork is laid. So I don't really see any of these failing. I really don't. I mean, do you?
So one of the biggest like fan built websites was Illuvium, and that's something that already collapsed. And granted, it was the people who built up Illuvium basically split off to a Louvitars and a Louvihub. So they're all still building. I don't know anything behind the scenes what went on for that to happen. These things do happen, and I could definitely see one of these or a couple of these just falling out. We're still in a bear market. We still have time. The longer we wait until the game comes out, who really knows? But even though I think that some of these could fail, I think a lot of them. I think they could all make it. Right now, like I'm seeing different use cases for all of them. There's a lot of people in the community who are working on Illuvium Master. You'll see that like in their tag on Discord. There's a handful of people who work on a Louvihub that I see in the Discord. Palamos is a really big. They get a really big like organization over there, a big community. Louva Labs that DJ Sam has been hinting at is something that seems to be brand new. I don't know too much about that, but I'm definitely excited to learn more. And like I said, Louvitars they seem like they might have the most potential, but we'll see where that leads to. But I'm gonna dabble a little bit into all of these. I'm not gonna just pick one and stick with it. If it makes sense for me to go to Illuvium Master to check out my Louvitars, then I'm gonna do that. If I like Louva Labs better than Palamos for lending, I'm gonna do that. I'm just excited to see where it's gonna go, and I'm sure we're gonna see more pop up. Like I said, Louva Labs is something that's gonna be brand new, and I'm sure somebody else is gonna come in and see this opportunity and build something.
Yeah, no. In the end of the day, we got some quality people building some quality projects, and like you said, more to come. It's early, and I'm just excited that we have these third-party tools in the first place.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm not too deep involved in many other Web3 games, but I don't think there's anything out there with 5+ fan-built websites that look this good. It's just not happening.
Not at all.
We'll see how that goes, and once I see more of a use case, I'm going to use these things in some of my videos. I've already used Illuvium Master in some of my videos, and we'll see what I can use, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's move on. We spent a lot of time on Illuvium governance last episode because that's really the only thing that was going on. So we're going to just make this one quick segment. The elections are completed. I feel very excited that I was able to make it onto the strategy council. But we have 17 community members who made it on the councils because with GovV2 we went from 5 spots to 17 community spots. 4 returning from... we have 3 returning from the previous epoch, and that would make 14 new people joining these councils here. And I can tell you now that I'm in it, all of these groups are already meeting. The strategy subcouncil, we've already met twice, and it's been less than a week. We're already listing out, our objectives, what we want to get done. We're signing our NDAs. Anything that doesn't fall under the NDA, I am going to be, talking about here or in other videos on my channel because I want to let the community know as much as possible. Whenever we put out an IIP or any ideas, I'm going to be going through that on my channel as well. But I'm pretty excited, and it's not like just me. Everybody seems excited about this. We all want to get to work. I work at a lot of jobs where you walk around and you can tell nobody wants to be there. But when it comes to Illuvium, everybody wants to be here. It's
good to have all those. It's good to have all those big brains in the room, and you deserve being on there. But I got a question for you, and this is hopefully not an NDA thing. You said you had 2 meetings.
Yep.
And are these more a lot of disagreements? Is it like what's the vibes going on? Because it's early, so until you really get on a straight line of where you want to direct it, what's going on in there?
Yeah, so our first initial meeting was just between the 4 of us who got elected, which is myself, Annie, and Emotitas, or Annie knows, Scrub-a-Dub Dad, and Vetamore. In the first meeting went smoothly. We just kind of, we really just had a discussion for the first time. We got in there, we kind of talked about what our initial goals were, what we wanted to accomplish. We knew between the four of us, we needed to decide who would be the person we're sending to the main council, because each of the sub councils sends a representative to the main council. So there wasn't really too much going on in that first meeting. The second meeting was just held this morning. We got our team rep, which is Nick from Illuvium. You know, now in the group we're just referring to me as Najaf because somebody else gets the name Nick. Today we basically voted internally on who we're sending to the main council, and it is going to be Animositas. So he was the one I personally voted for. He's going to represent us in the main council. We talked with Nick about certain things, certain ideas that we had. When it comes to things like something that I had been pushing was, how the fuel would work. One of the things that Nick is going to help us with is kind of find out what the team is thinking, because we can't just be putting out things blindly, and someone like Aaron's going to come in and be like, oh no, we already have something like that in the works.
Right.
So he's going to kind of get a lot of this information for us, so we know where the team sits, we know where we need to be, and how we can, basically support and align with the team instead of, butting heads with the team.
Right.
So we came up with a list of ideas that we want to work on. Nick's going to get more information for us. The idea was these councils meet twice a month, but I'll tell you right now, we're already planning to meet basically 4 times a month. Every week we have a meeting scheduled. We're going to meet for an hour or two. We've already been talking in some group chats on where we're going to go with this. And technically, this epoch hasn't even started yet. So there's going to be a lot coming out. If we saw, 5 or 6 IIPs over the last epoch, I would say between all these sub-councils, we're going to see triple that this epoch.
Yeah, so I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that room. I wish you guys all the best. But, yeah, I know we want to keep the segment short, so maybe we'll move it along.
If you want to catch more on that, on the governance stuff, I'll be making more videos, just all about it. Like I said, anything that pops up that I can talk about, I'm going to make some video on it to let the community know. And any comments you can have and give to me, I can bring it directly to the council. So feel free to leave any comments and ideas down below here. So let's move on. Where are we now? Oh yeah, so something a little off from Illuvium is there's been some drama about this update that Ledger is putting out. Do you want to get us started with that?
Yeah, so, can we trust Ledger? That's now the question on everybody's mind. Essentially, what we learned about this whole situation is our recovery phrase that we thought was on our ledger and only our individual ledger, it might be out there. They're introducing this new program, a recovery program, for a monthly fee, and if you lose it, they can find ways to get your password back. Me having a ledger myself, how do I feel? I don't really know. I'm in between right now. I want to see a little bit more of what's going on. I do have most of my crypto on my ledger, so there is a little worry. But, this might be an over-exaggeration or a just jumping to conclusion. So I hope that Ledger can kind of clear this up and let us know what's really going on. Because if my recovery phrase is out there, I don't want it to be exploited. And that's kind of what it's opening up to, What about you? Do you have a ledger?
I do. And I have most of my stuff on it too. So, but just like you said, I'm a little up in the air on it. I'm still trying to figure out more. I listened to a couple AMAs, Twitter Spaces from Ledger. They obviously they want to make everyone feel comfortable and feel that they're safe. This is a program you have to opt into, so you don't automatically get put into the program. So basically how it would work is they would shard and encrypt your recovery phrase and send it out to 3 different companies. And if you ever lose your recovery phrase, you would just have to prove who you are to these 3 companies who would put it all together and give you your recovery phrase. And if you don't opt into it, then your seed phrase doesn't get sent to anywhere. But the problem that most of the community has is that if you opt in and Ledger has the ability to take your seed phrase and send it out to these 3 companies, that means that your seed phrase isn't stuck or isn't only on your hardware device. And a lot of people say like that could lead to like an exploit. That means where we think we were in a trustless situation, now we have to trust Ledger. Most people who have been in this community and have a Ledger up until now want it because of that trustless system. Mm-hmm. And Ledger's whole thing is they want to onboard, the masses. And there are a lot of people who don't trust self-custody. Mm-hmm. And I think as, a community member of Ledger, we completely understand that. But everybody up until now likes the idea of it being trustless. They want to rely on themselves. A lot of people have brought up the idea, like, why didn't Ledger just come up with a new device that would have this recovery system and leave our old devices alone? But instead, there's going to be an update that's going to affect all of the devices, and a lot of people are just, scared about it. I don't think we have too much to worry about. I think Ledger, I don't think they're going to risk doing anything wrong. I think they've really thought this through, and I think we're going to be all okay. But there's always going to be something in the back of your head now that it's not just on you. Something could happen to Ledger, and technically you could lose your stuff if the right person hacks Ledger and they figure out how to get access to these recovery phrases. I don't know all the details. I didn't spend, too much time looking into it. The community is still kind of up in arms about it. A lot of people are saying they're leaving, they're going to Trezor, they're finding other things to use. I do have a Trezor as well. I'm thinking of, taking some of my holdings off and putting it on Trezor. But I also pre-ordered the Ledger Stacks, the new device that they have. And, it's coming and it looks like a pretty cool device. And I do plan on using it. So I might, like I said, I might move some of my stuff over to my Trezor. But for right now, I'm still going to plan on using my Ledger.
What worries me right now is the hackers now know this is a potential thing. So they're going to be in full steam on this, right? Mm-hmm. And also now, does Trezor have this going on? Do these other, hardware wallets, do they have that potential exploit? And also, tinfoil hat thing, is this maybe the next Black Swan event in crypto? Hopefully not, but,
I've been thinking the same thing. I'm just like, well, if Ledger had this capability all along to just send out an update and get access to our seed phrases, like Trezor could do that as well. But I'm hoping Trezor sees the backlash that Ledger is getting right now and doesn't decide to do that. Maybe Trezor does it the right way and they come out with a new device that could do a similar thing, but not affect the older devices. But just a quick plug, as you can see right below me here, I have it says that I have a Ledger and Trezor affiliate links. So if you'd like to help out the channel and you're looking to switch over to a Ledger, switch from a Ledger over to a Trezor, then use my links down below to pick one of those up. I do think both of them are great devices. I have them both, but there's obviously some, scary things going on with Ledger right now. If you don't have any hardware wallet, I would recommend getting it. Even with what's going on here, I would still trust Ledger more than I trust a hot wallet or keeping it on an exchange. But yeah, I mean, you got to be safe with your crypto. Right now, scammers aren't going too crazy, but once the bull market comes back, scammers are going to be everywhere.
They're coming.
They're coming. All right, we got 2 more segments here. We're going to move on to just some of the prices here. So when I first put together this rundown, it was before there was a big dip earlier this morning. I was looking at ILV was up 7% on the week versus Ethereum, which was about even on the week. And that's what we like to see in this community, is not just looking at ILV compared to USD, but looking at ILV compared to ETH. So I think some of that had to do with the announcement of Private Beta 2 coming out and, the snapshot of Louvitars, seeing that things are moving. People might be getting a little bit more hype. But yeah, we saw ILV move from, I don't know, it was probably about $44 up to about $48 in just a couple days. It was nice to see that. For SILV2, that has been holding very steady compared to ILV. We are still sitting at about 95% of the ILV. And I'm not sure at this point it's going to go down for me to buy more, but I really hope it does. If you're a big whale out there and you get some SILV2, feel free to sell it. I'll buy it off of you. But what are you seeing anything with these prices? You know, we're still kind of in that unknown area right now in the market.
Well, just a general statement right now with Bitcoin's price action, it's just hammering altcoins, right? Not that long ago, I remember seeing ILV at like $80, $90. And that was probably what, 2 months ago. But the Bitcoin price action is really just hammering all altcoins. So I'm not really too concerned about price action. In regards to the percent that SILV2 is to ILV, that's interesting to me because it seems like as we get closer to the actual game, people are looking at SILV2 as essentially an ILV. I mean, 90% is pretty much as close as you can get, you know?
So I'm pulling it up right now. I have it on the screen. SILV2 is 97% of an ILV right now.
Oh, it's 97?
Yeah, and if you buy SILV2, like people are buying it right now for Louvitars, basically.
Yeah.
If you're buying SILV2 and then transferring it over to IMX for Louvitars, at 97%, I'm pretty sure you're losing buying power on that.
That's a good point. I never even thought about that. And at 97%, I almost, now that you mention it, maybe I sell my SILV2 and just get some more ILV. Because when the bull run hits,
I had been saying that for a while. I had been saying, you know, when SILV2 was sitting at around 40% of an ILV, I was preaching, and this is like last summer. You can find videos on it. I made a couple videos about it. I was preaching the idea of like SILV2 is going to pick up compared to ILV. So buy it at 40% and sell it at 90%. The problem here is that Illuvium came out with these awesome products, and now we're spending all of our SILV2 instead of flipping it. Because my plan was to buy a certain amount of Louvitars, or the discs, and then flip some of my SILV2 into ILV when it got up to these 90, 95, 97%. I wasn't able to do that because I just kept buying more and more discs. So now I'm waiting for SILV2 to drop a little bit, and hopefully I can pick up some more, but that's going to be tough at this point. I think the days of buying at SILV2 cheap are over.
You know, it's interesting to me because this is how I look at it, and I'm not trying to influence anybody to buy, sell, but if it's at 97%, let's just say it goes back to 90% at game release, bull run, let's say ILV just gets back to 1,000, right? Say you got 10 SILV2. Do I really need $10,000 worth of in-game play? You know, have you thought of it like that?
I do kind of think of that in like the idea of just instead of spending my SILV2 now, like buying it, because if we think ILV is going back up to $1,000, $2,000, that means we're getting that same buying power in SILV2.
Mm-hmm.
So it does hurt me right now to spend SILV2 at the price of, I don't know, 40, or the buying power of $45, when that same SILV2 coin could get me the buying power of $1,000 a year from now.
Crypto degenerate syndrome right there. Just yes. we believe it's all coming back. So
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I'm keeping an eye on it. One thing to note in, you know, at this point, I've probably been through a whole cycle of, you know, the whole crypto cycle, which is crazy to me because I feel like sometimes I feel like I've been here forever. Sometimes I feel like I just got started. But at this point, I've been through basically a whole cycle. I kind of got introduced early 2020. But what I've noticed is that no matter how good these altcoins are, Bitcoin is going to be the thing that runs first. So I wouldn't even be too concerned about buying up these coins now. I say you could be safe with it, buy Bitcoin, and then after Bitcoin sees more of a run, then, you know, sell it into something like ILV and watch that run. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. I don't know that this is going to happen for sure, but that's what it seems like is happening. Bitcoin over the past, 4-5 months at this point, has gone up close to, I don't know, 60, 70%. And something like ILV, I don't think it's really gone up that much at all. Maybe 10%. Or even now, yeah, it did go up to close to $100 earlier this year. So I'm not too concerned about loading up on these coins right now. I'm going to load up on the safer ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And when the time is right, I'll buy these coins again.
All right.
But yeah, so why don't we got leak of the week, and then we are done here. So leak of the week, I can get started with this one. Let me share my screen. All right. So if you're not in the Discord, just a couple days ago, maybe it was yesterday, Grant posted a ton of leaks. This is probably the most leaks I've ever seen him post at one point. But my leak of the week here is all of these Mozart skins. I'm going to cycle through them here. They all look really cool. Let me find some more here. So what excites me most about all these skins is I'm not necessarily the person who's going to be trying to get the most rare skin to show off. And, you know, in real life, I'm not the person who has, like, the fancy watches or the fancy clothes to show off. But I like the idea of it's just bringing more value to the community. Because some people do like that stuff. And if I'm being honest with you, getting some monetary value out of Illuvium is something that excites me in this ecosystem. That's one of the things that excites me about Web3. So if I'm able to get these skins and other people find them valuable, that means I can sell these to those people, and then I can take that whatever I sell it for, that ETH, and reinvest it into more things that I like. I can reinvest it into Louvitars. I can reinvest it into more overworld travels. I plan to keep most of, I keep reinvesting back into Illuvium. The more volume that we can create, the better. More Rev Dis. If you want to take value out of Illuvium, you can do that. This is a free economy. We can all play it how we want. But there are definitely going to be people out there, and I've seen this with the Louvitars, that just want the best of the best. And money, isn't a big deal to them, I guess you'd put it.
Yeah,
but they do look really cool.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to mention is with what you said about how, you aren't going to be the type to collect them. I'm the same way. I'm probably going to get them, sell them, just throw back into ILV. That's my thought process. But the bigger thing is that's going to be all this money flow going through the ecosystem, right? If you had 2 skins, there's only 2 to sell. If you got 25, you have all these transactions. And when it comes to the Rev Dis, I mean, that's what we all want. We want money flowing through the system.
Yeah. I mean, the higher volume, just having high volume, it gets you noticed too. Mm-hmm. Like Cointelegraph or all of these different, crypto websites are going to start showing, like, look at this trading volume that Illuvium has, and it's going to attract more people to the system. And if you're an ILV staker and you're looking for some Rev Dis, the higher the trading volume, the more you're going to get back in Rev Dis. So that's another exciting part there. Another thing that kind of worries me, but it's not, I shouldn't be worried about this, is that even with Louvitars, I didn't plan to go all in on it and buy as much as I did. The Illuvium team just figures out a way to make you want to hold these things. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with some kind of concept of albums for skins. And, getting some rewards from having a full album of skins. And then all of a sudden, people like me who just want to get skins and sell them are going to be like, oh no, now I need to fill up my album. I mean, they do look really cool.
And the possibilities are endless,
It really is. And this team just keeps adding more and more value here.
How about we pull up my leak of the week?
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, we got some Northern Lights going on here.
Yeah. So this is cool, man. Like, I'm out here in a national park. I just saw the Northern Lights about 2 weeks ago. So when I'm looking at leak of the week, I'm looking for something with art. I'm looking for something with scenery, and just to see Illuvium pull all this together. And then you have the scene where it's going underwater. Like, there's just so much that's just super cool about this. And, I feel like, once I'm playing this game and I'm in a place where I can actually, properly play, I'm just going to want to wander. It's just so cool. And to see these regions really come to life with these leaks, constant leaks. And the thing is, it's not just a screenshot, right? Like, this is like real stuff that they've created. And I think it's exciting. And like I said, I'm always going to look for that kind of nature. And it's Illuvium's nature. It's its own world. They have their own aspects that you don't see in the real world. So it's cool. And it's awesome to see the artwork that they bring to life.
Yeah, definitely. And this is how they're going to be reaching all different kinds of gamers. Because they're not going to just have, competitive gamers who want to go and, compete in the auto battler. Or, big whales who want to just buy up Louvitars. The overworld could really just be for that casual player that just wants to come in and explore, wander around, catch some alluvials. And the art is just, it takes it to a whole new level, especially for a Web3 game. Like, there's really nothing like this out there. When I see clips from this Abyssal Basin, which I'm probably gonna hop in and play really soon. It reminds me of things like Avatar, like the bioluminescence, and just it just looks, I don't know. It speaks to me. I don't know if it speaks to you, but it's really great, and I can't wait to see what the other 4 regions are gonna bring.
Yeah, I'm not even, like I said, I'm not even the biggest, video game player, but man, you got to respect this art. I don't care if you're into video games or not. Like, the work that's just been put in, and just constantly new stuff coming out and coming out and coming out and getting better. Props to the team on that.
Yeah, and if you're in this Discord, I encourage you to go check out the Leaks channel, because there's a lot of stuff that got dumped into there recently. But yeah, that about does it for this episode. So we're going to have episode 19 in the books. Every 2 weeks we're doing this. We haven't missed an episode yet. So if we just finished episode 19, we've been doing this for, well, at least I've been doing this. I know, Whitey, you've been in for the past 4 or 5 episodes here. But that means what? 38 weeks? Getting closer and closer to that year mark for this, which is crazy for me. But we're not slowing down. I'm never the person to give up when times are rough and we're in a bear market. So, I'll be back in 2 weeks for episode 20. We're always going to try to find something to talk about. Leave some ideas in the comments below if you want to see certain topics talked about. But that's about it. Any final words, Whitey?
I'll see you at the 20th anniversary.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.